Hi, this is Regina White Favors with Homeless Recovery Tips. And so the topic is sleeping on a friend's couch is still homeless. A lot of times we get confused with this idea that we have moved in with someone by permission, of course, and we think because we are living within the four walls of someone's apartment, and that we can close and lock the door, and eat and get food out of the refrigerator, and maybe have some kind of way to uh, turn on the air conditioning and or something like that. We think we have rights. We often think that, oh well, we're living in somebody's house. Sure, it's their couch, it's their house, but I live here too. That cannot be farther from the truth. If your name is not on the lease, as I note in a previous audio about living with your parents, and that's still being considered homeless. If your name is not on that lease, you are not considered a legal record of a roommate of legal record with that person. So that means that that person can ask you to leave anytime. Sleeping on the friend's couch is still homeless. Take some time to research this as a political term, concept, economic term, not just using your regular dictionary. Um, visit any government-based website resource, and it'll give you an indication. Like it'll give you an understanding about what homelessness really is. And so, when you're sleeping on that friend's couch, you don't have a room. You are subject to the authority of that friend and that friend's apartment. You cannot bring people into the house just because you think you live there. You don't live there. You are staying there for a limited time, and whatever that time frame is, it is completely dependent upon what the friend says. It's not dependent upon what your need is, because the apartment and the couch, the house, the curtains, the walls, the room, all that is in that person's apartment or home belongs to that friend. It doesn't belong to you. Even if you brought in even if you were staying at the friend's house, say for instance, maybe a year, say you were tolerable for a whole year, and then you decided to bring in a few items, to kind of decorate or something like that, and you think, well, I'm making a contribution here. I'm paying rent, and I'm making a contribution. I'm bringing in food. I even brought in some little decorations or whatever to make it even feel more home. And you're really not doing that. You're trying to distract a person from realizing that you are actually sleeping on that person's couch, and that the person doesn't understand that you are considered homeless, because no one would think you would be homeless. We have it in our mind that homeless people actually live outside. And so you're thinking to yourself, well, I'm doing all these different things, so I live here. I'm accepting mail, so I live here. And in some cases, based upon state restrictions, you can make the case that you live there if you are receiving mail from there, and the judge might even agree. However, the lease does not permit you to stay in that apartment without your name being on the lease. So eventually, you will not have the rights you think you have, because the leaseholder could easily say, we want that person out. You did not get an agreement with us to make sure that they can be on the lease. And so we're giving you 14 days or 30 days to get that person out. Either add their name to the lease and they pay a deposit. We do a background check, a credit check, and they pay a deposit, administrative fee, or any other extra month deposit. Either do that, or they have to move in 14 days, right? So that tells you right there that you are considered homeless just by that example alone, because the person who owns the apartment house has greater authority than the person who is actually renting from the person who owns the apartment house. Even if the person who is renting could have some legal authority based upon them being a renter and following under the state rental laws. However, they don't own the property. So, in some ways, the apartment owner, apartment organization owners could easily tell the person who is renting the apartment and allowing you to sleep on the couch to leave as well, because the the person did not get um, the person did not get permission to allow you to stay there. So they are actually um, in error, right? They are actually not right as well. So you're both at a kind of vulnerable state because there's no guarantee that you can keep it. So if you don't remember anything else, living at somebody's house, anybody's house, as a 100% responsible adult that you should be, is considered homeless, unless, with the exception to the rule, unless they put your name on the lease or the mortgage deed, or you become a co-owner in the property, you become a co-mortgage uh, person with the property, somewhere that you have legal claim to the property. If you don't have legal claim to the property, you are homeless. You can say whatever you want, you can believe whatever you want, you can convince yourself of whatever you want, but eventually you're going to have to exit that property. Think about it like this: if you remember the film Baby Boy with Tyrese Gibson, Taraji P Henson, and the director's name escapes me right now. And he thought Taraji is the one who had the apartment. She was taking care of the child, taking care of the apartment, paying the rent, everything like that, and she had the car. Well, Tyrese's character used to take the car, take it with him, drop her off at work, pick her up from work, but then he would ride around, not keep a job, um, um, sometimes have a date with some other woman or one of his other uh, children's mothers in her car. What was interesting about that dynamic, because if a person is going to be a bomb, they're going to be a bomb no matter what. What was interesting about that dynamic, however, was he thought just because he added rims to the car, he did a little bit of maintenance to the car, he kept it nice and clean. Sometimes he put gas in the car. He thought that he owned the car. The car was in her name. She got the car in her name, where she's responsible for paying the monthly car note, as well as the insurance on the car. She is 100% responsible. Even if he took the car and did what he did to it, he's under a false assumption that the car belongs to him. She could absolutely take back the car, and she did. And then he rides back to her house, her apartment, on his bike, because that is the only thing he actually owns, is his bike. So even when you are sleeping on a friend's couch, you don't even own the couch. The only thing you own is yourself and the clothes on your back, and any clothes that the apartment person allows you to store in a drawer. But if but they could reclaim and take back that apartment anytime they wanted to, at whim, and they can pack up your things and sit your things right there out on the porch. It happens all the time. And so sleeping on a friend's couch is still considered homeless, no matter how long you've been living there, until you are placed on the lease, until you get permission to be in that apartment. You could be asked and escorted out by police escort at any time. So this is homeless recovery tips. Sleeping on a friend's couch is still homeless.